Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining me here on this channel, 13 Divine Star Codes, where I'm practicing true sidereal astrology using the accurate measurements of each zodiacal constellation, as well as accounting for the precessions of the equinoxes, which undoubtedly change our location in outer space, which therefore changes our view of the night sky. So this is the most important transit this year, in my opinion, and it began at the beginning of March. We've been so very busy with the eclipse season and this Pisces stellium, and right before the eclipses began, Saturn moved into Pisces, into the shine of Pisces, on March 2nd, 2025. And Saturn will reside here in Pisces until May 2nd, 2028. 3 entire years of this incredible transit. So let's dive in. Saturn is assisting us in making our dreams come true, helping us to anchor in our most spiritual selves, helping us to anchor in our dreams, and delivering us lessons in spirituality. There will be a demystification of illusions, karmic reckonings for institutions such as prisons. We're likely to see prison reform, karmic reckonings for mental hospitals, spiritual centers, secret societies, temples, authorities in spirituality such as gurus and leaders. These institutions are likely getting like a whole overhaul by Saturn, getting new regulations, new rules implemented, things coming to a head. That's informing the board members of how to improve these institutions and creating more regulations and rules around them. This is transit is a wake-up call for spiritual leaders. We've all seen the classic guru story of the charismatic leader doing shady things behind closed doors. So, while preaching a certain type of lifestyle with high morality and then not having high morality in really big ways. So this is a wake-up call for them, and an opportunity for them to, be humbled by Saturn and to live in authenticity, and to live by the higher moralities that Saturn teaches us how to live by these moral principles. We're likely to see more psychedelic clinics, more psychedelic research, more psychedelic testing for therapies, proving the capabilities of controlled psychedelic therapies and group therapies. We're likely to see a lot of alternative therapies gaining the respect and the clout and the opportunity to work in mainstream societies. There's a large emphasis on our mental health and grand opportunities for working on our mentality over the next 3 years. And collectively, we will see a lot of karmic endings on the world stage and karmic new beginnings. And we'll also experience this personally, considering that Saturn is the lord of our karma, Pisces is the beginning and the ending. There's going to be a lot of these themes for the next 3 years. We'll see endings and beginnings of government, the end of an old way of governing systems, and through revolutionary acts, the beginning of new governments. We'll be seeing and experiencing the healing of our karma, the healing of our collective karma, healing of our personal karma. Many people will be liberating themselves from karmic patterns from ancestral lines. We'll see an advancement in spiritual devotion personally, and we'll see it in our friends and our neighbors, people taking their spiritual practices more reverently, with more devotion, with more seriousness, with more respect, really carving out that time for this spiritual practice. We're seeing practical spirituality take the place of woo spirituality. We're wanting to see results of our spiritual practices. We're not just wanting to do something just for the sake of doing it. We do our spiritual practice in order to, commune with the divine and make our lives better and do something for our lives and our experiences. So we're seeing, a rise of that practical spirituality coming into play here. We're letting go of excessive indulgences. We're able to end, different types of addictions within ourselves, seeing our friends and neighbors ending addictions, whether it's substance addictions, drinking, smoking, what have you, overeating addiction, shopping, sexual addictions, any, device addictions, habitual thought addictions, so many. So we'll see letting go of those excessive indulgences, having more modification, really kind of tightening ourselves up in that area of needing crutches in order to get through the day. Now we're more so devoting ourselves to spiritual practice instead of having a vice, an indulgence. Likely to see new laws for water, new laws protecting water, restrictions upon water, restrictions with water, hoping for reform with polluting companies and corporations that pollute the water. These are things that can happen while Saturn's in Pisces. There could potentially be something that happens, and now because of something that happened with the water, new restrictions imposed. But hopefully we won't see anything happen with the water, and we'll just see people coming up to protect water and giving restrictions and regulations on multinational corporations and other invasive practices against the oceans, to protect the ocean, to protect the water. We're bringing our dreams into structured form during Saturn's transit through Pisces. This is a reality check for our idealistic nature. It's great to have lofty, far out dreams, and it's great to make them happen. So we're not just having these dreams, we're actually doing the work, the fundamental day in, day out exercises to make them reality. We are developing our emotional boundaries here over the next 3 years, and we're creating boundaries for healing institutions. We are setting up the framework for alternative healers, astrologists, metaphysical practitioners to have more structured, polished, professional, and respected places within society to operate and to work. So for everyone, this is going to be affecting at very least 2 of your houses, considering how large Pisces is, 42 degrees in the real sky. But for some of you, depending on where your ascendant is placed, if it's really at the end of a sign or the very beginning of a sign, and depending on which sign it is, you could potentially have Pisces impacting up to like 4 of your houses. But it would mainly probably be in two houses. So it's important for you to reference your true sidereal birth chart in order to understand the rest of this video, where Pisces is falling in your specific birth chart for you. And you can access a free birth chart. I will drop a link down below that will take you there, and you can type in your birth information and get a free birth chart right there. And of course, you're always more than welcome to book a reading with me on my Instagram page, 13 Divine Star Codes. There's a button that says book now. You can book now, and you can it'll take you to a reference of all the different readings that I offer, and you can read more about them and book one for yourself. So let's start. So if you have this Pisces in your first house, then you have Saturn transiting your first house. This would likely be a Pisces ascendant, perhaps even an Aquarius ascendant, maybe even as far back as a Capricorn ascendant. So again, reference your chart to find out. So this is for people with Pisces in the first house. So Saturn transiting your first house is going to cause you to take your lifestyle, your health, your general well-being so much more seriously than ever before. You can experience a great inner revolution that affects every aspect of who you are at this time. It's very likely that you're already an artist of some sort, in some medium, in some field, and likely a spiritual person as well. And you can really anchor into the realms of this reality more concretely and bring some pretty amazing things forth right now while Saturn transits your first house. You may face some challenges, of course, but Saturn is here to reform you into the highest, most moral and ethical spiritualist, artist, human being that you truly are. So you can become very concerned with your moral duty to live by. You can adopt a new set of high principles to live by, even a new philosophy. But put quite simply, you'll be making great strides in your personal spiritual evolution, and also an evolution in your entire well-being at this time over these next 3 years. So if you have Aries as your ascendant, then for you, this will be happening in your 12th house. And so this is truly a spiritually rewarding transit, the most spiritually rewarding transit that there is, and will be a huge benefit to those who are willing to do their work. This brings sobriety in your mentality. Any illusions, any projections your ego used to use to seek refuge in will no longer be viable, no longer be available. It can bring closure in long-standing karmic loops. You can be letting go of very deep-seated psychological patterns that were passed down your ancestral line. This is a superb time to work with a psychologist or any skilled therapist, so long as you feel like they're truly helping you to resolve these things, that they are truly helping you shed light on these patterns and being objective. But also, helping you to do the work. So you can't be too hard on a person during this. You have to be objective, but also know how to hold the space. So find a good therapist, a good psychologist. You may have to face letting go of a material possession or a material something or another in order to liberate you from a karmic debt and help you to be lighter in your life in moving forward. It's likely that you'll be taught lessons in spiritual and emotional boundaries, which will lead to less permeable boundaries moving forward. So you're gaining new boundaries, you're getting stronger in your boundaries. Saturn is here guiding you on how to have boundaries, guiding you on how to let go. And if you work in the alternative healing field, if you're a healer of any kind, a medium, psychic, a light worker of any capacity, your work will gain tremendous momentum through this transit. Your work will become very strong. And, just have patience over the next 3 years, because Saturn is really making a diamond out of you. And you're becoming a stronger mentor, a stronger healer. And Saturn has great plans for you and your practice and your healing business. So we're now going to look at what is typically a Taurus ascendant. This will be anybody who has Pisces in their 11th house. And just a reminder, we're going to have Pisces in at least 2 houses. So don't follow these ascendants to the T. Go ahead and look at your own true sidereal chart and match it up with which houses that you have Pisces in. Listen to all of the houses in my report that you have Pisces in. So traditionally, this would be a Taurus ascendant. This is the 11th house. These are great karmic reckonings and healings with networks, groups, and potentially the eldest sibling. You could have one of the luckiest transits ever, because you can make a long-standing life goal reality over these next 3 years. Whatever it is, whatever you've been secretly wanting, no matter how big it is, Saturn can give you the lessons, give you the tools, and give you the devotion to help you make this happen. Often we fail many times prior to succeeding, and you have 3 years to make this lifetime goal a reality. So don't give up. Rely upon your devotion to stay the course. And Saturn may need to break you away, break you free from certain groups, networks of people to help make this aspiration of yours a reality. So allow Saturn to do that for you. Okay, so now we're going to look at anyone who has Pisces in the 10th house. And this would, again, traditionally be for a Gemini ascendant. This is an amazing transit for establishing a legacy in your life that is both spiritually aligned and successful at the same exact time. So Saturn here is giving you what you need in order to take you to the top of your most aligned profession. Saturn is here to bring you into a career that aligns with you on a spiritual level and that is spiritually fulfilling. So your public image in your community can become more recognized for the integrity that you demonstrate. This transit rewards those who have been in integrity, as well as addresses those who have been outside of integrity. So if you have a spiritual business, perhaps you can certainly gain recognition at this time. This is definitely a time of great responsibility, recognition, alignment, and of grounding your vision for your career. You really can have it all. You can be spiritually fulfilled and a polished professional in your field. So we're now going to look at anyone who has Pisces in the 9th house. Traditionally, this would be the sign of Cancer. Cancer, this is a time when the student now becomes the teacher. Saturn is training you to be in a position of authority, likely a spiritual authority. If you put in the devotion, Saturn is asking you to study and to refine your wisdom so that Saturn can train you to be in a position of authority through your integrity. Not in an egoic way, but in a way that you are modeling ethics, you are modeling wisdom, you are walking the talk, And Saturn sees this and wants to give you an opportunity to become a teacher, become esteemed in your field, if you want to take it. So if you want to take it, you very much so can at this time. You're taking on more responsibilities. You're taking on more responsibility perhaps in religious studies or higher education. You're even possibly going on a spiritual pilgrimage or spiritual voyage overseas. You might even be leading a retreat overseas, or you may emerge as a leader after taking a retreat, going on a retreat overseas. You may learn powerful lessons while at sacred sites at this time or on a spiritual retreat. And if your father is around, do take some time to be very attentive of him, to check in and to be connected with him over these next 3 years. There could be something coming up with your dad or any profound male figure in your life. Could be profound uncle, father figure, boss, anyone who you've looked up to, that is a male. So for anyone who has Pisces in the 7th house, this is traditionally going to be a Virgo ascendant, but again, because Pisces is so big, it could be not just a Virgo, okay? I skipped over Leo. So now we're looking at Leo. We're not quite at Virgo, almost Virgo. Sorry about that. So Leo, for you, this is in your 8th house. This is happening in your 8th house, Leo. This is a rite of passage that prepares you to lead others through the darkness. Old versions of the self are stripped away through karmic reckoning, and you're giving birth to a more mature version of yourself to take over. Saturn is demanding that you demonstrate financial responsibility in investments, in shared resources, in inheritances, in anything you're doing with the law, in anything with IRS and taxes. You must be responsible in these areas right now. They will take time. If you're dealing with an investment, that could take time. If you're dealing with the issue with taxes, that could take time. Any of those 8th house issues can take time right now, but if you have patience and you deal with them ethically, they will be solid, and you'll be very grateful that you have done that. Saturn develops your emotional mastery here, having you face many fears, helping you to navigate them so that you learn to laugh in the face of your fears and to no longer be afraid of them. You kind of unveil them for what they truly are, no longer are terrified. This is a very karmic house, so anything that comes around, whatever is owed or whatever is due on a soul level, comes full circle over these next 3 years. This is also a great and profound time to end debilitating psychological patterns and to face the hidden and unseen parts of ourselves with the devotion of Saturn to liberate ourselves. Liberate ourselves from anything that has been debilitating, anything that has been running our ship, driving our boat without our previous acknowledgement or awareness of. Those unseen hidden things can come up and we can see them, and now we can decide differently. So we're now going to discuss the 7th house, what happens when you have Pisces in your 7th house and Saturn's transiting there. This is typically for Virgo. So this is a profound time to cultivate meaningful, long-lasting relationships and committed partnerships. This is both romantic and business and could also be a very close friend. You may resolve and end a past life connection in a partnership at this time over the next 3 years. Likewise, you may also receive a very fated, romantic partner or business partner that is meant to be, or even a close friend and close ally at this time. You can reevaluate your existing relationships, see if they are both spiritually fulfilling and morally sound. Are they also serving their more fundamental purposes as well? Saturn is asking. Why is this person in your life? Let's look. What are they bringing to the table? Are they bringing morality? Are they bringing honesty? Are they bringing efficacy if you're a business partner? And what do they bring out of you? Do they bring the highest out of you, or do they bring the lower out of you? So this is time to check in here. So you also may be collaborating on relationship goals. So if you're already in a sound relationship and Saturn comes in here and it's not time to break up, or maybe it never will be, and maybe it's not time to bring a new partner in because you're totally satisfied with your partner now, this is a time to refine relationship goals at this time. This also goes the same for a business partner. If you're happy and satisfied with your business partnership, this is now a time to start a new business goal together. You're creating a strong foundation, whether romantic or business, built on trust and mutual respect. Basically, all the things that any good partnership has for the long haul in the highest and best way. So we're now going to look at anyone that has Pisces in the 6th house. This is traditionally for a Libra ascendant. This is learning sustainable health practices, refining your service to your community in a way that is truly aligned with your deeper spiritual values. If you happen to have any health issues come to light at this time, Saturn is showing you them so that you may refine your day in, day out regimens and tweak them so that they are in service to your health in the highest way. You're learning new skills at this time. You're taking on more responsibilities that foster greater spiritual growth and greater health harmony. Mental health harmony is a big one. Learning how to manage stress, learning how to streamline your tasks, eliminating unnecessary tasks, unnecessary steps, and truly stepping up your efficiency at this time. You may become very fulfilled by service work or community development, any volunteer work at this time. And there's a big potential for volunteering in animal shelters because 6th house also rules animals. You could be putting your animal in training. You could be learning to be an animal trainer. You could be learning to be a better animal trainer. I used to watch that dog trainer, I think, who was he? His name was Cesar, and he was a dog trainer. I forgot what show he was on, but he was amazing to watch. So maybe you're learning how to train your animal. Anything like this that provides structure in the 6th house of health, day in, day out routine, service to the world, anything having to do with your pets. So now we're going to look at anyone who has Pisces in the 5th house. So traditionally this would be a Scorpio or an Ophiuchus ascendant. So you are taking a structured approach to your creative endeavors, to your parenting style, as well as your romance and dating style. So this could look like designating creative time daily, putting a date night on the calendar, putting a one-on-one quality time date with your child or children on the calendar weekly. This is making time to make art with your children, with your romantic partner. This is finding an artistic way to connect with those people. There may be temporary creative blocks that lead to a more streamlined and structured practice as a way to work the entire creative unit, all the creative muscles, and find new ways to work around when the going gets tough. It's very likely that if you've ever been on dating apps at this time, you're going to exit out of them because you're wanting to set your sights on maintaining a serious relationship. Casual relationships are not the name of the game over the next 3 years for anyone with this in the 5th house. You're wanting and needing more of a mature relationship, one with responsibility and mutual trust and mutual responsibility in the relationship. And if you're a parent, this is a time where a great deal of awareness and attentiveness is truly needed for your children. So pay attention to your children, be interested in what they're doing, find out what's going on, ask them how they are, and pay attention to, their behaviors. Pay very close attention at this time to your children. So you're truly, they're just something about the children. They're needing something from you. They're needing your structure at this time. There's a lot going on in the lives of kids. It's really different from when we were growing up. And right now, with so much stimulus and outer influences in the lives of our children, your children are needing you to provide greater structure for them at this time to keep them safe so that they feel safer and safer to be more creative as well. So I think creativity is a great, shared creative time is a great way to check in on your kids at this time and a great way to protect them at this time and give them structure through creativity. So all in all, you're truly entering a new era of responsibility in the areas of parenting, dating, and creativity. So very good. So for anyone who has Pisces in the 4th house, traditionally this would be Sagittarius. This is a restructuring of your emotional foundation in your domestic life. Your domestic life has been a reflection of your unresolved or unfelt emotional states. Saturn is supporting you to restructure these areas, to bring them to optimum health, optimum vitality for long-term success, for the long haul. This is a wonderful time to do any genealogy work, to honor your lineage. If you come from a family that cooks a certain type of cuisine, now's the time to dive deeply into that. Now could be a time to potentially surrender to the truth of your family heritage and in any familial illusions by seeing your family in the light of the truth. So this is, of course, more shadow work. And by doing this work, Saturn will guide you and will be able to help release you from karmic ties to illusions and surrender to the truth, which is a wonderful place to build upon. So from here, you'll be building and creating a truly healthy and stable emotional foundation, therefore a healthy and stable family for yourself. Saturn may reveal structural issues with your house, perhaps, that you might need to repair. This is a more literal manifestation of this transit, and I find that with Saturn and Pisces, we'll receive literal and we'll receive metaphorical, spiritual. So it might come to a surprise that your house needs work, and it might be a source of challenge and delay to get it resolved. But once you do get it resolved, this would be a great benefit for long-term solidity and value of your home. So it's so good. So for anyone who has Pisces in the 3rd house, traditionally this would be a Capricorn ascendant. Here you're honing your skills, developing your communication through the deeper understanding of the implications that your words have on your reality, that your thoughts have on your reality, that your jokes have on reality. Anything that comes out of your mouth matters. So you are graduating into a more refined, more mature, more courageous aspect of yourself through thoughtful and deliberate communication. Relationship with friends, associates, siblings are getting an overhaul. They're getting a check. Saturn may also, not only check your relationships, but check your courage during this transit and ask you to speak up upon a moral issue, perhaps with one of these people. So here you're taking a realistic look at your habitual thought process and eliminating forms that lead to a less than ideal version of what you would like to see manifest in your reality. And any sincere efforts made in the sectors of friends and siblings, and speaking up for morality and higher values will lead to more fulfilling relationships, more aligned with your liberated self, with your more moral self, and will, be less subject to old and familiar roles and ways of thinking and ways of relating. So a big, huge one for you, for all of us, but this is a great one. And if you have Pisces in the second house, this would be traditionally for an Aquarius ascendant. Saturn here is helping you to create lasting success in your finances. Saturn is going to be imposing certain restrictions and delays that will help you become more realistic, more responsible about your finances and your assets. You're being questioned about your priorities at this time, and the results may come as a shock to you. Saturn is going to help make it abundantly clear to you what you prioritize and what you put on the back burner. So one way you can see this is look at your bank account and your spending habits. What do you prioritize and what do you put on the back burner? And should you switch these? So Saturn may also test your self-esteem and your self-worth by putting temporary constraints on your finances so that you don't use your financial status as a way to prove your self-worth, okay? It's kind of like the opposite. It's like we have self-worth and then that shows up in our bank accounts, But if we're working to get the money to put in the bank account so we have self-worth, that's not sustainable. So we have to go the opposite route. And so by exercising financial balance, by reprioritizing your goals, by reevaluating your priorities, and understanding your intrinsic self-worth, Saturn is setting you up for unwavering success. Long-standing investment holds, long-standing holdings, substantial holdings that yield wonderful returns because you're responsible to handle it. So that's it, you guys. This is a very powerful 3 years for us with Saturn and Pisces. We're likely to see many old structures dissolve and new structures come into being, new framework putting into being. We're restructuring our entire lives. We're getting a whole spiritual overhaul. Just loving you all so much and sending so many blessings of groundedness and of openness and just so much love. Aloha.